Right, so these satellite images that have been independently sourced by India today corroborate some of these findings, like this, for example. The line of actual control, which is the India-China border, take a look closely. A new PLA division level headquarters, the manner in which that area has come up shows infrastructure that is being built up, concrete infrastructure being, as it appears, by China at the border. And of course, this is on their side of the territory, but it shows trenches, it shows towers. Look at how clear these images are. Only shows perhaps when you go on the ground as well that it would be very clear and substantial that they are put on the ground. It's not just about the headquarter infrastructure, it's about the roads that are being built, bridges that are being built also. Armored vehicles that have been caught by the satellite images here that show that there is definitely a deployment of vehicles, of troops right at the line of actual control. This headquarter admin and support facility has also been built. There are towers and neurodome. All of this, remember, and there's also an under construction facility, which means the Chinese troops are not stopping. But is this a sign of perhaps an escalation to come in the next few days that Indian Army and of course the establishment would be watching very carefully, tracking the latest of how these infrastructure developments have been coming up along the line of actual control by the Chinese troops. So let me now bring in Abhishek Bhalla yet again for the latest. Abhishek, for the past few years, this has been a constant development, but why this area gains more significance is because there was a pullback that was agreed to, whether it was troops, whether it was deployment or even building infrastructure of this level. But as we have known the Chinese troops and the Chinese government to always be, you cannot trust them at all.
That's right, Pooja, and the Chinese intentions are very clear with the kind of enhancements they are doing as far as their forward deployments are concerned. And this latest satellite imagery that has been analyzed by our colleague Ankit Kumar clearly shows that a new garrison has come up on the northern bank of the Pangong Lake, and this is not too far away from the Finger 8 area. Which, of course, was part of the confrontation, the flashpoint since 2020, but then a pullback happened. But it's clearly visible that the Chinese remain in the vicinity in extremely high numbers and are also enhancing their military establishment and infrastructure on the ground, which paints a very scary picture.
Tracking all the latest on that, Abhishek Bhalla has been our defense editor as well and knows fairly well about what precisely is going on at the border and the manner in which now there is a meeting as well. Let me take you through a little bit of background to help you understand the terrain. Remember, sitting in cities, it's important to understand what our Jawans are facing at the border. While we are looking at these developments that have come in and the infrastructure deployment that's taking place by China, remember 2020 Galwan. Hotsprings and Gogra. Gogra is in Ladakh. There was a disengagement after, of course, Galwan 2020 clash. There were nine times military level talks that had taken place, and then a disengagement, a pullback point was mutually agreed upon. Pangong saw, again, the status managed to reach the level of disengagement after repeated level of military level talks and also diplomatic talks that had been taking place. Galwan Valley, there was a buffer zone that has been created. The buffer zone, somewhere in the middle, if it has not reached an exact mutual agreement, it keeps that buffer zone intact. And then Depsang and Demchok, again, all of this, remember, would be reminding you about 2020 when the clashes had taken place. A stalemate here continues specifically in this area. This still remains a tense area where the Indian Army Jawans have to be very crucial about the Chinese troops' involvement.